So voters in both Costa Rica and El Salvador will return to the polls to cast votes in runoff elections. Earlier, I spoke with Juan Carlos Hidalgo, a policy analyst on Latin America at the Center for Global Liberty and Prosperity. I asked him about both elections, but I began by talking to him about Costa Rica. He called the race there the country's most important election in a generation.
I think that the biggest surprise was who ended first, Luis Guillermo Solís from the Citizens Action Party. He was only 5% in the polls just 2 weeks ago, but he skyrocketed in some surveys, and he ended up doing this upset and finishing first. And then you have the incumbent party candidate, Johnny Araya, who finished second. Many people expected him even to win in the first round. So it's going to be an interesting election come April when we have the runoff vote. When
you have 4 candidates and then it narrows to 2, obviously the key thing is picking as many of those folks that went the other way in the initial election. What do you see as the deciding issues that are going to drive the voters, and any suspicions how this thing's going to turn out?
I think that a lot of Costa Ricans are fed up of the incumbent party, the National Liberation Party. They have been in power for 8 years. And I think that the PLN has become a synonym with embezzlement and cronyism. There is, according to surveys, corruption perceptions are at its highest in Costa Rica's history, at least since there are records. And interestingly enough, if you look at Araya, the guy the incumbent candidate, if you look at how he will perform against any of the other candidates, whereas he was the socialist candidate, the libertarian candidate, or the social democratic candidate, he would have lost in the runoff. And he is now the underdog coming to the runoff. So I think that's going to be the main thing coming when we look at the election in April, that Costa Ricans are fed up. They want to change. And right now they decided that the kind of change they want is Luis Guillermo Solís.
Well, let's turn to El Salvador. Economic disparity, crime, corruption, those are big issues in that country. What do you see going forward there? Any way to kind of size up that election?
Yeah, I think that the surprise there was the fact that the incumbent party, the FMLN, came so close to winning outright in the first round. Many people expected a second round, but they only came 49%, or just one little hair. They hit the post, to use a soccer analogy. I think that they're going to win. It's pretty clear. I mean, you require a major upset from the right-wing Arena party to gather all the votes from the other parties and even encourage some Salvadorians who didn't vote to come out and vote for Norman Quijano, the candidate of the opposition. So the interesting thing with El Salvador is that the incumbent party candidate, who is the vice president, Salvador Seren, he is actually a more left-wing type than the current president. The current president didn't belong to the party up until when he was elected. He was recruited by the FMLN to be their candidate. He has run the country as a centrist, at least until recently. But the Sanchez Seren is actually a former guerrilla who sympathizes openly with Venezuela and Castro and so on. And the question is how farther to the left he's going to take El Salvador.
And the answer is?
We don't know. We don't know. I mean, like, maybe he will run as a pragmatist. I think that the FMLN has discovered that by ruling El Salvador pragmatically, at least somehow, like increasing social spending, but not messing up with the economy too much, they have actually been able to almost succeed in getting reelected. So maybe they will apply the same policies, but we will have to see.
Juan Carlos Hidalgo, thank you so much.
Thank you.